Hey beauties, it's Riri. If you're new here, I'm an over 40 lover of all things beauty and I love showcasing indie brands here on my channel. Today though, I'm taking it old school with a throwback brand, Too Faced. This is the APPLEY in Love palette. I have not tried an eyeshadow palette from Too Faced in many years. I just received this in PR, so thank you to Too Faced for gifting. I didn't even know they knew I existed or had my address. Anyways, but several of you, when I posted my shorts video, said you wanted to see a look, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. It did come with this cute little card, and it was packaged beautifully with a bunch of little pink paper twirl things, and then this cute little card. So again, this was gifted. I am actually going to, though, especially because I've not tested their eyeshadows in, many years, you guys. I'm going to do one eye where I prime, and then I'm not going to prime the other eye because I'm also going to really just kind of showcase for y'all, because I get questions a lot about whether or not like setting sprays, primers, and things like that actually make a difference. I feel like for myself personally, because I do have hooded lids, I benefit from a primer. It also helps with sallowness. It helps if you have a lot of veining on your lids, and if you have oily lids, it also is a benefit of that. I'm gonna go in with my Alter Ego eyeshadow base. This also was gifted. And I will prime only on one side. I have no makeup on, no skincare, no nothing at this point. Not even a brow, y'all. So anyways, do you have this palette? Have you tried Too Faced? Have you been somebody like me that you have not tested any of their eyeshadows in a long time? I'd like to know. Their lip liners, their plumping liners, is actually what I'm wearing today. They are my all-time favorite. It's the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper. I'm also going to note too, I'm going to try to get this up hopefully before that, but I know the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, they'll have these half price, so I'm definitely getting some. But I love those, and I love the Too Faced Lip Injections. So I am well versed as far as those products go, but I have not tried a palette, like I said, and y'all, it's been a long time. Like, a long time. So I am going to do some swatches for y'all. Here's the packaging. I love that packaging. I'm gonna kind of hold this back here so I do not blind you guys, hopefully. Here is what the color story looks like. So just so you know, as it gets up close, this is upside down. That is for showcasing purposes only. I do like the layout and the color story here. I like that it goes from light to dark. I love having inner corner and brow bone shades. I'm still blinding y'all. I'm new at this, y'all. I like that there's like an inner corner and brow bone shade. I like that there's some depth here. I love the blend of the mattes to the shimmer formulation. So yeah, I'm super excited. I am going to be swatching going from here across, and we will work from there. This part will be sped up just a little bit, and then I will come back and kind of let you know what I think of the actual swatches. I am somebody that does not really give a shit about swatches because they are not always indicative of how they're going to perform on the lids. So here are the first 4 shades. Let's dive in. All right, beauties, hopefully those swatches were helpful to you. I will say that the matte swatched pretty nicely. It does feel like a thinner texture, kind of like ABH. I always felt like Too Faced and ABH were kind of very similar in that regard. And then the shimmer formula to me is more of a kind of a classic or standard shimmer slash more of a satin type of formula. I am somebody that kind of comes from the indie world, indie brand world, so I'm used to a little bit more, but there's nothing wrong with this. So I am going to go in and just create a little something easy. I always try to do everything beginner friendly here. I'm trying to think what I want to do. I think I'm definitely going to play with like the browns. Maybe go into kind of this mustardy shade, maybe this shade here. Let's start with Slice Baby. A little bit of kick up, not a whole lot, but it does pick up really beautifully on the brush. And I am going to tilt my head back because I do have hooded lids. I'm going in with a firm brush that is a little bit more thick and dense, and I'm going to place this on the lid, kind of pressing first. I will worry about blending afterwards. So even upon just kind of first application, I do feel like the pan color is the color that I am achieving on the lid. And I'm aiming for a little more rounded shape here. Again, not worrying about any type of blending. This does smell really nice, kind of cinnamony, if you will, and it's not super strong, which is a good thing. Now over here, again, I have nothing there. Pretty similar and blending pretty well. Now with a very open, flimsy, fluffy brush, I am just going to kiss the edges of this shade. And that is going to give me a really beautiful, soft gradient. And the blend is going to be nice and natural there. Okay, I can very visibly tell that there is substantially less product here. It has kind of taken away a little bit of the product where this one kind of still has full opacity. All right, I'm gonna go into a little bit of a smaller brush. Let me see. I'll go into this little SL Miss Glam. I'm gonna go into Apple Sauced. Again, quite a bit of fallout in the actual pan, but it does pick up beautifully on the brush. I'm going to hold my brush all the way down. A good rule of thumb, if you hold your brush down far, you're going to get the least amount of pigment placed down. You're going to get more of a diffused look. If you hold your brush all the way up here, you're going to get a little bit more intensity with pigment. This shade, I'm coming slightly lower than that first shade. Again, pressing in place. And then I really want to intensify this kind of outer V right here. That's really pretty. Again, starting a little lower than that initial shade, pressing it in place first, and then really packing it on that outer V or outer corner area. Going back in with that open fluffy brush, and again very softly and holding it at the bottom of my brush, I'm going to diffuse those two together. Even on the side that doesn't have the primer, yeah, it's kind of taken some of the pigment away, but the blend is still there and I can very visibly see the gradient between both shades. And it doesn't look bad, it's just slightly more punchy on this side. Okay, yeah, I mean, aside from it being slightly more pigmented here, I feel like they both look beautiful. I'm gonna go into this bone shade here in that clean brush. I'm going to lightly, whoa, that's a little more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. Okay. I'm going to dust that right under the brow bone. Again, holding it down far. And then I'm going to lightly, again, just kind of barely graze my edges with this. Okay, definitely more punchy on the side with the primer. I'm also going to be looking at long wearability. That honestly is the most important thing for me. I've preached that for many, many years. I do not want to do work and spend any amount of time on my eyes for it to be off of my eyes in just a few minutes. Long wearability is incredibly important to me. I mean, like, even if something's a little bit harder to blend, even if maybe it kind of gets muddy or patchy, you can always fix it. You can go in and layer. You can go in and put shimmers on top, and then nobody ever sees the indiscretions. Okay. I think I'm good here. Honestly, I like both. As long as this wears well, then I feel like you could go either way. Definitely a little bit more punchy here, but then the gradient here, because it is kind of taking it away some, it seems a little bit more soft and more diffused. So if that is more your your speed. I feel like I want to add some of this Baskets Full. Going back in with that more firm brush. Whoa, that picked up a lot. I'm nervous. And then this, I think I'm going to keep really, really low. And I don't want to come in more than like halfway-ish, especially for my eye shape. I like to have a large portion of my lid being more of the, you know, shimmer or glimmer or satins or whatever the case may be. Again, placing it down. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing for comparative purposes. I'm going to go in with my Give Me Glow Glitter Glue. You can use any kind you like. I'm going to take my finger because I'm not doing both lids, and I'm going to get a tiny bit. With these types of products, I have found personally that less is more. You don't need a whole lot. I'm going to readjust my mirror so I can get up a little closer to you guys. And about halfway over, all the way to the inner corner area, I'm going to place this down. Again, less is more. I'm actually going to wipe a little bit off. You could apply this with a brush as well. You could do this in a little bit more precise manner. I always just use my fingers. And I feel like I want to do Turnover, which is kind of like NARS Orgasm vibes. It's kind of pink with like a slight kind of peachy shift to it. And I'm literally just going to press this in place with my fingers. I feel like with shimmer and metallic formulas, that is how I personally achieve the kind of highest level of pigmentation or opacity, if you will. And then if you do want to be a little bit more precise, if I do want to be precise with this, I can go in with a brush. You could also spray the brush, and then from here, if I did want to do a cut crease, if I just wanted it to be a little bit more precise, then I can go in with the brush. I think that performs beautifully. Not blowing my socks off, but it doesn't have to. I'm going back into that exact same shade for this side. It does have a little bit of like fine flecks in here. I mean, it's still a stunning shade. It's just not a in your face, wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of shade. You know what I'm saying? But still lovely. Again, slightly more opaque here, but they're both equally as pretty in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna go into a very small pencil brush and go into Crunch Time, which is kind of that more icy white silver shade. I'm gonna pop that in the inner corner. Wow, that is way punchier than I anticipated. And then because I do have hooded lids, I like to personally, whatever inner corner shade I'm using, I like to pull it over just a little bit, and I like to bring it up here. I kind of just flick it up that way because I like for this area to just be open and light and bright. That is my personal preference, but you know, do whatever makes you feel like the best version of yourself. That is performing beautifully. Again, not quite as pigmented over here, but still impactful and still beautiful. Y'all, I'm having a pretty damn good time, and I'm not gonna lie, based on them swatches, I was like, ah. So here's what we're looking like. I think both are equally as pretty. This one is just slightly more, just light and diffused. All right, I'm gonna finish off everything. I am gonna go in with the pencil brush back into Baskets Full for the lower lash line. I'll come back and give some final thoughts. Here is the completed look. And I finished off with the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer and Foundation. I went in with the palette, you guys, and went in with Applesauce as a like bronzer shade on an open fluffy brush. And then I mixed Baskets Full with with Turnover as my blush, and then Turnover and Crunch Time as my highlighter. I have to say, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I think, and that's solely preference based because I like just a little bit more with the shimmers and stuff like that. But I mean, this is gorgeous. Like, this is a stunning look. I love it. I think it looks incredibly pretty. The only difference, even very up close, my mirror is right here. The only difference is that there's a little bit more impact here, a little bit more opacity here versus here. I think they both look outstanding. Yeah, I am actually shocked. I'm pretty damn impressed, you guys. I think that if you're on the fence or you have not tested Too Faced out in a very long time like myself, I say that it's worth giving a go, especially as the holidays are approaching. I know that Ulta does Too Faced palettes like 50% off a lot, and then Too Faced also does brand deals, especially during the holiday season. So yeah, considering I could use that, everything blended well, it looks incredibly pretty. They layered well and stuff like that. We'll see how it wears. I will put that in the description box or any pinned comment. And then I could use it for blush, bronzer, everything. Like, I don't know. I like it, y'all. I like it a lot, and it smells pretty damn good. And that is it for today. If you do like the video, please consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. I'd love to have you be part of my beauty family. Thank you to you beauties. Thank you to my beautiful channel members. I love you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.